to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Sode Shack this evening. On my right, Adam Markham. On my left, Bobby Reynolds. Gentlemen, how are we this evening? Woo! Why? Oh, we're starting off with a yell.
Needed to. We've had,
we've
been on the Hollywood. Yeah. We've been doing the Hollywood thing. Yep. I mean, right? We're big boys now, right?
I said it felt nice to come into the Sode Shack and just be able to let off some, jokes, let off some yells, have way more, beers than we usually do on the Hollywood episodes.
Yeah, I've been pretty quick with the intros. I'm like, get it off me.
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you? Trust me, I'm feeling the same nerves when you have
it's scary,
your
man.
two dream guests for 2022 back-to-back episodes.
These guys got a lot of followers.
It's true.
That's all that matters.
That's right. Bobby, as we know, that is the only metric for life that we care about.
That's accurate, Josh. If you got less than 100 followers, we don't care.
100,000 at this point. Peasant.
Dead
to us. Dead peasant. We're just taking it all the way to the extreme. Huh?
I do miss the hello, mate.
Yeah, well, don't worry. That's still going to be around.
Okay, please. I think it needs
to probably. I mean, this episode, I'd say
so.
We'll have some breaks to come back from.
It's been fun. Coach Schneider, shout out Coach.
Yeah, he's the best.
Participated in a mock that we did. We'll have some mock draft results for you all next week. So stay tuned for that, along with kind of round 2 of free agency signings.
We're going to take some laps on y'all is what Josh is trying to say.
He is. But Coach was saying he's going back. God bless him. He's going back and re-listening to all of our old episodes.
Deranged.
And I said, I want to know when full-blown crazy Addy shows up. And he said it's about episode 4. He said that's when it feels like Addy just chained himself into the Sode Shack and never left.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had a big heart-to-heart with myself, about after that 3rd episode, and just really said, Adam, just be you, damn it.
Just chain yourself to the table night and day, just grind the film.
Yeah. Do the Stone Cold thing.
Make people vomit. It is just a cruel irony that we bring this up and joke about this the night that you do the Stone Cold and make me sick during John's season 2 premiere.
It's very true.
So that theory was proven accurate.
It's very true.
So you got to stop.
I was worried Josh was going to pull one of those during the last 2 shows.
Just
me
leave
and Adam,
you guys.
Yeah.
Going to be dealing with whole Greg R, double G, Greg.
60% G.
Triple G.
Yeah, triple G.
So, Greg.
Sorry about that, Greg.
You like golf? You big into golf, Greg?
Taylor made, huh? Burner.
We're going to wrap this up, Greg.
Yeah, my first tweet ever to Greg thanking him, I spelled his name wrong, so
yeah.
Apologies.
But he liked it, so now he is officially acknowledging
I couldn't delete it.
That he can go by single G as well.
Yeah. That made my day, though, the old notification, Greg Rosenthal's following you.
That's amazing, yeah.
Freaking
Feels
dab
good
on y'all.
And then
hit me with one too, man.
Hollywood, baby. That's what we're saying.
Finally,
it's about time.
We paid our dues. We're ready for our makeup in the bright lights, baby.
I can't wait to immediately get canceled.
You wearing makeup in Hollywood, Josh? Or you just gonna ride it out?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm like, please make me look
Cake
tan.
me up, baby.
Yeah, I want to look as fake as possible, like a Playboy bunny rolling.
I want them to do 6-packs on me.
Yeah, spray paint those abs on.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, that
fill
was
in
fun.
The bald spots.
Cool,
yeah,
cool.
Definitely fill in like the bald spots. I don't want to look natural at all. I want to look like Tom Brady's face, going into year 45.
Like,
oh my gosh.
Like the dude in Vegas, the Newman guy.
Yes, Randy Newman. Essentially just like wax figure.
I don't think that's his name.
No, I think that's the salad dressing guy.
The salad dressing guy. Randy Newman? I thought that was the Vegas guy.
I don't know.
It's not Randy Quaid. That's crazy Randy.
It's not Randy Newman.
It's not Randy Newman for sure.
Who's the salad dressing guy?
Maybe it's just Newman.
Greg Newman?
Greg Newman? No, you're thinking of Greg Rosenthal now.
No.
We're just all mixed up. This is fantastic. Well, welcome into the podcast. If you guys are joining us for the first time, welcome. Tonight, we are doing a very special Monday night episode because the legal tampering period has opened for NFL teams to start to sign these unofficial deals with free agents. So tonight, we're going to break down some of the most notable deals for defense and hit some offensive guys as well. and let you know what you need to be paying attention to for IDP.
We just want to get out in front of all the other pods and brands.
That is true, Addy. We are nothing if not psychotically competitive with the other shows and brands.
We got to give Rody a little work tonight. He's taking a little time off.
Don't push buttons. Don't push buttons. I don't know what buttons are pulled up. Oh yeah, you would have launched. Here we go.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
Oh, we got to bring him up. Hold on. What are we?
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
That's the message to the other pods and the other brands.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a long time ago. Like that was like over a full year ago.
Was it really? It was. Yeah.
That feels like 10 years ago.
Feels like 10 years ago.
Calling out
Truly.
Josh's lack of work, getting out here and updating him.
And I got to say, that dude stinks, baby.
Shout out Connie, one of my favorites. All right, so let's get into the news here, fellas, and then we're going to hit the defensive players that were on the same team, not the biggest name for IDP. Then we're going to hit some offense. Then we're going to take a break, and when we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to hit the dudes that stayed with their same teams and the guys that switched teams that you need to know about for IDP.
That ad break, is that an AD break? Like Aaron Donald break?
Yes, that is. Aaron Donald is doing all of our ad reads.
Love it.
So that's big news for us. Congratulations, fellas. So this was the big news here, Addy, that broke on Sunday. March Madness got about 15 minutes in the spotlight, and then Tom Brady was like, hey, guys, I'm going to come back to football. I think the main takeaway for this one, Addy, is that Tom Brady hates his family.
Yeah. A month of it, month and a half. He's still, again, coming off one of his best statistical seasons ever. Was it his best?
Pretty close.
Yeah, it's
top
up there.
3 probably.
Yeah. So and I was shocked that he was walking away. I didn't understand it. So
if there had been some decline in his play, okay, but makes sense. I think I actually said on mic or said in a conversation with Connor, he's coming back. I thought it would be August maybe. There's training camp reports that the guys they have there, Kyle Trask, if they brought back Blaine Gabbert, are throwing like 6 interceptions in a practice, and Tom's like, maybe I should come back for one more go-round. But he waited about 40 days was the official timeline that he gave with his family and retirement, Bobby, before he said, I'm going back to football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Jesus meme. Jesus spent 40 days out in the wilderness.
I kind of picture it, Bobby, like the end of the movie Dodgeball when Ben Stiller's like really fit character has just all this junk food around him with like the big old man boobs hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
I picture that with Tom Brady, like eating strawberries and pizza and bread.
Yeah. Kids are hard, Tom, aren't they?
They're tough.
He understands now what the rest of us go
got
through.
one of them. Yeah, and they're tough.
And he has, 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Right? 3 or 4?
Yeah. I don't care. Tom's back. That's great.
Well, he
We talked
retired.
about it. You were right. We
and
talked
then
about it.
Unretired, sort of, because he was like, well, I haven't made up my mind yet. And then he officially retired. Now he's back. I feel like we're kind of entering into like a Brett Favre type of territory where it's like, if you say you retire, are we going to believe you?
Yeah, no.
At this point, like, I'll believe it when it's September 9th or whatever and Tom Brady's not under center.
There was a lot of, Florio was reporting that he was going to sign with the 49ers. Did you guys see that?
Mm-hmm. I did. That was a big rumor.
That was weird.
That they were just going to swap. I was like, Bruce Arians has already said they are not trading away Tom Brady's rights to anybody else. If he comes back, he will be a Buck.
But anyway, Trey Lance, what are we doing?
I know.
It makes zero sense. That's just a weird rumor.
Was he the 3rd overall pick?
Yeah.
They gave up 3 firsts for him.
So, that was always like, Tom wants to do this. So it was almost like Tom's camp putting it out there of like, he would really love to play for his favorite childhood team. Sorry, Tom. You're going back to the Bucks.
I think everything that the Bucks kind of did in the offseason was kind of the tea leaves, too, of like, we're going to franchise tag Chris Godwin.
All their moves kind of seem to indicate that they maybe had some idea this was going to happen.
I think so, too. The only weird thing I've been seeing today is that Brady's coming back and that Bruce Arians wasn't going to be the coach of Tampa this year. It's like, who would be?
BA will do one more year.
Yeah.
We'll see how this one goes.
I guess so. I don't know. The Tom stuff I'm tired of. Are we going to talk about Aaron Rodgers at all? Or should we go ahead and get that off our chest here?
He's coming back to Green Bay.
Did we talk about that last week?
Expected that. Status quo. No, we didn't talk about that last week.
Here's my thoughts on that real quick. I think he's going to do this every year until eternity. To where it's just like, I might come back. might be pissed off at the Packers.
He learned from
organization.
Favre. We forget because it was so long ago, but Favre did this for years.
Yeah.
Jerked him around. Jerked him around.
So irritating.
Because he was the QB in waiting.
Hey,
so,
you learn from the best.
That's right. Or the worst in this situation.
Hey, I went to the mall today to get my little boy a baseball bat, and I went in the like super shady like sports store.
Which one was it? What is?
It's like
Dunham's, right?
No. This is like
In the mall?
it's just like 3 letters. It's like TNT or like
Oh, no.
something with fit or like I don't know.
The mall has become like a flea market.
Oh, this is
It's
essentially
I hear
like,
it's really sad.
Uh,
It's the saddest thing you've ever seen.
y'all need to stop in there sometime and check out the football jerseys. There's some ones that you're gonna be like, who is this? I didn't know Les
think
Bell
I know.
played for the
It's
Dolphins.
right off of the. It's right off of the main kind
Yeah.
of hub with like Annie Ann's and all that.
But what made me think about it was I saw the Favre Vikings jersey today. I was
Wow.
like, I should grab
Oh,
that Freddie.
wow.
Almost bought you something,
I
Josh.
was gonna say we could get something for the wall.
Almost got you
How
a
much
little.
are they
deals?
How much were these
like, are
running?
we talking deals?
$50 or so.
Not really.
It's kind of one of those good-
$15 maybe.
It's kind of one of those Goodwill things though, to where you got to. There was a nice Derwin James jersey on the Chargers.
There we go.
I
that
was
was
like,
probably full price though, right?
I was $50.
Oh wow.
We need to
And
get
it was
in there.
official NFL.
Oh yeah, there was a salute to service Colts jacket. Almost grabbed you, but
Ooh.
I don't know. It was a little too. Didn't look like you. Didn't look like Josh.
Yeah, I don't know that I could rock the salute to service jacket. That'd be tough. That'd be a tough one to pull off.
Maybe.
All right, so
Josh rocked the most absurd Colts jacket.
Yeah, I had
in-
some in college. I think it was.
It
was-
did not fit Josh's style.
way too big. It was not. It was not me at all.
Look like Beebs.
We need to find it, dude. Yes, it did look like he was like, yeah, it looked like really
is
ahead of
this
his
guy
time.
trying to be like a white rapper? Like what's going on here?
It looked like that.
It was way too much.
That's awesome.
So speaking of guys, we have Tom Brady coming back. A player not coming back with his current team because he's been released. Za'Darius Smith released by the Green Bay Packers. This was expected. I think he'll have a pretty robust market. Along those same lines, Jarvis Landry also released after the Amari Cooper trade. We all expected this one as well. Bobo, Za'Darius Smith, do you think he has anything left in the tank, specifically for IDP? I think he could kind of like Chandler Jones give a defensive line a boost, but does he have any juice left for IDP? Are you interested at all, or is it landing spot dependent?
Yeah. What did he have? The neck fusion, back injury, some type of issue.
Pretty
with
much
his back.
out all season,
Yeah.
close to it.
I mean, it's worrisome. You know, it makes you think a little bit like Daniil prior to last year in his horse pec. I guess it was 2 years ago. I mean, moderately some interest in Za'Darius Smith if he's not going to be a whole lot. But we just got done doing this mock, and we'll talk to you more about it next week. But DN gets pretty gross pretty quick.
It does,
And not only in actual fantasy terms, but
especially
also
where
in the
these
NFL.
edge guys get designated as linebackers.
I guess my biggest surprise
it's
was
yucky.
with Za'Darius Smith. I don't know what the contracts were between him and Preston, but the locking up of Preston and the letting go of Za'Darius kind of baffled me because I didn't think Preston Smith played well last year. And also, shout out to the realest of the real, Kyle B, for the Rashawn Gary, tip prior to last season, because that dude looks like the real deal there. And that's probably a lot of the reason why Za'Darius is gone.
Well, that was a question we got from Aaron was, do you think, Addy, that they released the wrong Smith brother? And I think I said, I think if Za'Darius Smith had been healthy last year, maybe this is a different conversation today.
Yeah, but I mean, he was getting healthy towards the end of the year, right? Didn't he play in the playoffs?
Yep, he did.
I mean, obviously he wasn't full strength, but I mean, you got to figure he's going to be full strength going into next year. Yeah, I think Za'Darius Smith is a much better player than Preston Smith.
And didn't they just extend Preston?
They just did, yeah. But Preston Smith's been very inconsistent. I mean, he's been, just look at his stats.
Yeah.
And a nice extension, 4 years, $52.5 million.
And he may, he was pretty solid last year, if I remember correctly, in the sack department. So I mean, if that continues, that's a fine deal. But I mean,
I think the Packers like him more than the general public does and more than IDP players do.
yeah. But Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, that's still a really nice, duo.
How are y'all valuing Rashawn Gary right now? Let's take RSO out of the picture and let's just say sleeper dual designation. Where is Gary right now? He's in your top 10?
Top 12 for me. I had him. I think I have him like his number 12 actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like right behind Marcus Davenport.
Joshy?
Yeah, I think that's me as well. And I think were you baking in maybe a Za'Darius
of course.
Smith
Yeah,
exit?
this was you could kind of see this coming.
I mean, this was whispered about for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, even if Rodgers, if Rodgers didn't come back, it was obvious he was going to be let go. But I mean, yeah,
once Rodgers came back and they franchise tagged Devontae Adams,
but they've been talking about this for a bit, right? Yeah, because I mean, yeah, he was a high cap hit, so I mean, they've been talking. We've known this was coming, so yes, that was already reflected in my ranking. I kind of assumed that even if not, Za'Darius Smith is almost 30 years old, right? So yeah. Rashawn Gary, I mean, we've known this was coming. And when you put up 81 pressures, which was third in the NFL, I mean, everything starts kind of falling into place.
Was he one of your arrow up guys from your tweet earlier? Did you mention Rashawn Gary?
I didn't. I should have. I just wasn't thinking of
this.
Rashawn
This
Gary.
definitely boosts.
He was
his
already
stock,
up for me.
though.
I really can't. I mean, he's already top 12 for me.
Yeah. I think that's appropriate.
Can't go a whole lot higher.
Yep.
So let's talk about some of these defensive guys, fellas, who are sticking with their same teams. They're not the biggest names for IDP, but as we've seen from all our years of doing IDP, you got to know these depth charts because you never know when injury might strike. We mentioned Preston Smith. Christian Kirksey re-signing with the Texans, 2 years, $10 million. B.J. Hill sticking with the Cincinnati Bengals. 3 years, $30 million. And then Carlton Davis. This was a bit of a shocker, even with the Tom Brady re-signing, coming back out of retirement. I thought Carlton Davis would demand too much money for the Bucs to bring back. So, Addy, I'm a bit surprised that he lands back with the Bucs on a 3-year, $45 million deal.
Yeah, for sure. I thought he would have gotten. He was going to get a bigger contract.
I thought
at least
he would
a longer
get
one.
17, 18 a year.
I thought it would rival J.C. Jackson's contract. So I did think J.C. Jackson was the best one out there and deserved the highest contract. But yeah, I thought he would be kind of in the same range. Now maybe on a per basis, I guess it's same ballpark.
About $15 million a year.
Okay.
3 years for 45.
So yeah, it's still solid. But yeah, that's great for his IDP value. I mean, he's just the way the games go there in Tampa, he's going to be getting targeted a lot. Teams are going to have to be trying to stay with him and play catch up. So yeah, Carlton Davis is going to be once again a top 12 dynasty cornerback.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say was we like to talk about these new players in new places, Bobo, but for IDP, I'm always more interested in the guys that are staying with their current teams because I like stability when it comes to my team building.
Yeah, and offensively too, we'll talk about a few of them, but very rarely do any of these offensive weapons move teams and produce very well. A lot of these wide receivers, the Stephon Diggs route of him going from Minnesota to Buffalo, that kind of stuff's rare to where the next year he's the leading yards guy. It's kind of the same for IDP too. I agree with you. Learning a whole new scheme, learning a whole new group of guys, learning a whole new, coaching staff, playing against guys in a different division that you're not used to. It is different. It's the same game, but it's definitely different. I'm pretty interested in the Christian Kirksey deal. Just because, kind of like we talked about with Greg, it's just muddy stats. Yep. And that's going to be one of the biggest questions, and it's already hitting. People are going to want to know, and you're going to have to hit up our hit us with the draft kit, Josh.
Yeah, the IDP draft kit.
Because we're going to talk about vacated tackles.
Kyle B
snacks.
is going to be looking at vacated snaps, vacated snacks per team.
Yeah.
Which team makes you the hungriest? Yeah. But yeah, we're going to be looking at places where opportunity is ripe for IDP production.
And I know that's a lot of the questions out there in the Twitterverse. I saw Macri got hit up the other day. I guess and me too, because me and Macri are freaking cool. But about the Bobby Wagner being released and who can we see maybe take some of those snaps behind Jordan Brooks. And you're not going to know. And I don't think it's our responsibility to know right now because there's so much stuff that can happen. The draft is still yet to happen. Free agency is still coming. But there's going to be guys like Christian Kirksey that are going to have terrible roles on a terrible team and are going to be an LB2.
I was going to say, he was actually decent last year. 13 games, 12 games started, 93 combined tackles. Looks like he didn't have any sacks. He had 2 QB hits,
2 fumbles forced, something, and an interception. But yes, Josh, and 3 games with double-digit tackles.
Yep. So
okay,
obviously don't overdraft the guy.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's overdrafting.
Yeah,
but in
first round,
in a startup, I mean, he's a great late round. You know, one of those. He's going to be there probably in round 40 for you to take.
Yep, that's one of the things I think we probably don't talk about enough is just the ugly players, where it's like, you know,
nobody wants to talk about Christian Kirksey. He's not sexy.
Sure, but he had 93 tackles last year.
That's right.
And he missed a bunch
He's
of games.
a great bye week.
And honestly, he's not that old.
Yeah, 29.
Yes,
I
29
mean, he
years
feels
old.
like he's much older than that.
Yeah, he feels like from as much as he's been injured, he should be close to like 33, 34 years old.
That's a fine age for linebackers.
Every time we say that, we should have to press something on the board that reminds of how old we are.
Hold on. I think I have.
Not great, Bob.
That's how my body feels most mornings.
Love
is
that.
Not great, Bob. So let's talk about some of these offensive guys, just because it's kind of fun here. Chase Edmonds signs with the Dolphins, 2 years, $12.6 million. Christian Kirk, this is the one that made people's heads explode.
Hey, isn't it cool we got Christian Kirk and Christian Kirksey?
Right back to back. I didn't even think about that.
We planned it.
Fire. So 4 years, $72 million, max value of $84 million. Mike Williams came back to the Chargers, 3 years, $60 million. Michael Gallup, 5 years, 57.5. So a couple wide receivers staying with their own teams. James Conner coming back to the Cardinals, 3 years, $21 million. And then as Arn put in the doc, average to below average tight ends getting paid. Will Dissly and CJ Uzomah both get 3 years, $24 million for the Seahawks and Jets. And then Evan Ingram, come on down to the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1 year, $9 million. Addy, they are pretty much just restocking the pantry with every single item they can grab off the grocery shelf in Jacksonville.
Pretty much, yeah. Just, I mean, yeah, throwing it all at the wall and hoping something sticks. Pretty much. I mean, they got the money to do it. You know, they gotta get Trevor some weapons.
Yeah.
Even so, I mean, even with what they brought in, I mean, it still ain't great.
It's not, yeah, they're
You
kind of
know?
like,
it's a weird mix
okay.
of folks there with Christian Kirk, Laviska Shenault, who looks slow and had a lot of drops.
Zay Jones.
Marvin Jones getting older.
Yeah, they
He's
brought
like
in Zay Jones.
32,
Yep.
33 now, Marvin Jones.
Yep.
Zay Jones, that's weird.
Yeah.
I like Agnew there, but he's coming off a pretty big injury.
I heard a great comparison.
weird.
Two great comparisons from Robert Mays was, remember the Toys R Us run on like Nickelodeon in the 90s where you get to like run down the aisles for 2 minutes and get whatever you wanted off the shelves? That was the Jags. He also said, this was the one I tweeted, because Nate was like, it's when you get $100 gift card to Best Buy and you just go spend it because you can. It's like burning a hole in your pocket. And Robert was like, no, it's like you got a $100 gift card and you spent $10,000. Like, that's the Jags. Like, hey, guys, you don't need to spend all your money on Christian Kirk. But they're like, but we can, though, right?
Also, though, like they're coming out of a very like toxic relationship with Urban, so it's like they're like, let's just spend some money.
Let's just rebound hard with all of these shiny new toys.
Let's just try and forget about what just happened.
Let's push the pain down.
Let's do something for the fans. Give them some playmakers, a couple of them.
Let's put Christian Kirk on the season ticket holder pass.
A guy named Zay.
Sorry about Urban. Here's Christian Kirk, guys.
Don't pay no attention to Coach Urban giving the girl the oil change at the bar while his wife was watching the grandkids.
Evan Ingram. Here you go.
Heard of him?
It is interesting, though, that, you forget that Doug Peterson ran Goddard and Ertz in Philly for years and years. So Dan Arnold and Evan Ingram, I don't know that I want either of them. But like every year with Hunter, I almost said Hunter Renfrow. That's not it.
Hunter
Henry and the Jonnu, they got paid crazy last year and didn't do anything. So Aaron's right. But I think just in the fantasy community, we super devalue tight ends.
And I think the
NFL
Colts
thinks differently.
I think the Colts brought back Mo Alley Cox, like 3 years, $15 million, so like $5 million a year.
That sucks for Granson. I was
yeah,
kinda ready to
Kylan
see him.
Granson. That was a Frank Reich special. He really liked him, so I was excited to see him in a more prominent role. But
That's good for, Christian Kirk. That's good for his value, right?
Sure.
This is good. Great for Rondell Moore with everyone leaving town now.
yep,
No more
And Nuke.
Chase Edmonds and obviously Kirk are gone.
Is Isabella still there? Is he anything?
Nah, he's nothing. They'll bring somebody in. They'll get another vet or something in there. Jarvis Landry's floating around out there. Someone can grab him.
I'll be curious to see who takes a flyer on Jarvis
I
Landry.
saw where the Chiefs
Or linked to him?
and the Saints, I think, are both interested right now.
I think there were some players trolling us today with the eyeball emojis because there were a few times, like Tyreek Hill was one I thought of that did the eyeball emoji, and I thought, oh, are they about to get Allen Robinson? Like, one of these Juju, like one of these big name wide receivers.
Who's the one receiver you wanted?
for the
out of free agency this year.
For the Colts?
Just in general. Who's your favorite one?
I would have loved to have seen Juju on the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that they had a little flirtation going on.
I think that the news coming out with Jarvis being linked there means that Juju's not going there now.
And it's weird because you would have thought Juju would have had a bigger market last year, had to end up coming back to the Steelers. Of course, Big Ben's arm is totally shot, so doesn't have, I'm sure, the year that he was excited about. Now they've got Trubisky in there.
Wow.
I can't imagine he's too thrilled to want to come back there. But, that was the marriage I wanted to see was Chiefs with Juju Smith-Schuster. Let's unlock, because Juju was exciting. Like, don't forget, this guy was in, like, the NFL 100 commercial. Like, he was a rising star, and then these past 2 years have just tanked his value.
He's still, like, 25.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's
super young.
Who is your favorite out of the group?
I did like Christian Kirk
a
lot. He had a great year. I mean, I thought that he was pretty impressive when he was, relied more heavily on down the stretch.
And it's always like...
and he's still 25.
It's a weird thing.
I like that he's young.
Where it's like, did it make your team better? Like, the Jags are better today than they were 2 days ago. It's like, who cares? Like, it's not your money. Like, I think it's fun to debate, like, he was overpaid, but at the end of the day, like, the Jags are still better for having Christian Kirk.
We see how often these teams get out of these contracts.
Yeah.
It's all meaningless.
It's all dummy void years and funny money and just moving stuff around.
And people forget that the cap went up $40 million essentially from last year. So
and there are rumors that it could go as high as like 225, 230 next year.
What is that, like 25% almost? It went up from last year.
Yeah, it was 182, and then it jumped to 208. I think 208.
And that's a massive deal. I mean, we know playing in salary cap leagues, like if it jumps up to 225, oh boy.
Yeah, we are one of those weirdos fantasy players that can tell you the NFL salary cap like
to a T.
Yeah, down to like the $100,000 mark.
What about these other ones? Let's hit them real quick. Mike Williams, glad he's staying with the Chargers. I kind of hated that for Josh Palmer.
Me too.
I was ready for Palmer's season.
But you like Mike Williams coming back. It was funny on the Athletic Football Show. They did say, like, you have a feeling Mike Williams is like, I have the worst agent. Like that Arrested Development where the dad is like, I have the worst lawyers. Like, he's spending the whole first season, like, in jail. Like, Mike Williams had to have that moment of, like, hold on. Christian Kirk got how much money?
That is true,
Because think about if Mike Williams had hit the open market, he would have blown that deal out of the water.
I mean, what was the rush of doing that? You know what? Why?
I guess.
What did he get? 3 years, 45?
No, he got 3 years, 60. So 20 per year.
That's still
good.
Nice
but
chunk.
Mike Williams and Christian Kirk are two different people. And I know Mike Williams' track record as far as staying healthy has not been great.
Not great.
So that needs to be taken into consideration. But
I don't think they're that far off, honestly.
You think, well, that's probably right. Do you think Brandon Staley kind of knows, like, they're not far from contending?
Oh, this is their window. Rookie QB. Yep. Make your move. That's why you're seeing them trade for Khalil Mack and go sign J.C. Jackson, as we're going to talk about, and bring back Mike Williams and bring in Sebastian Joseph Day.
Brandon Staley didn't deserve that team. That was a freaking good team when he got them last year. I'm sorry, that's just me on my soapbox.
Are you mad because he's not a Rams defensive
coordinator?
No,
I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of over Brandon Staley.
Got your ring now, baby.
I'm a Raheem Morris guy now. So.
Raheem.
But
Raheem dream.
Anyways,
speaking of having it all set up for him.
What, Raheem?
What?
Yep.
Raheem Morris with the Youngry Bucks?
No, they're in L.A.
Yeah. We walked into a pretty primo situation.
Yeah, they're fine. Let's talk about these other guys. Chase Edmonds, y'all going to get him in Dynasty?
Cut that if you would.
Yeah, we're on video and audio now. That's an absolute no-go. It's on Bobby right now. You can tell from the red light what camera's on.
How do you do the hard thing again?
It's on you now, Eddie.
I'm breaking out.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good look for you.
Joshy, Chase Edmonds, you going to get him in Dynasty? You care at all, Dolphins?
I think the Dolphins are going to draft another running back or bring somebody else in.
Okay.
So
it's a nice little.
It's a nice
nice RB2-3.
RB2-3. I think I agree with that.
Who's the one they kept? Myles Gaskin. He's still there.
Myles Gaskin. I was seeing a little bit of hype out of him. I was kind of surprised with that.
Yeah, he was.
But that kind of
he's very meddling.
Takes the shine off of that.
What about James Conner? He was freaking good last year.
That's a great.
James Conner interests me a lot. Yep.
I was hoping like he would the Arizona would be a landing spot for one of these. That'd be a great Breece Hall spot.
Mm-hmm. Well, it still could be.
Still could be. Right. Connor's not. What was it? Did they give him 3 years?
So they gave James Conner 3 years, $21 million.
Wow.
$7 million. Nothing to sneeze at.
He looked good this year. He played well. I mean,
wonder what some of these outs are going to look like after 2 years.
Let's say most of these contracts will be
He probably won't see
ripped
that
up.
third year.
And, yeah, a lot of these guys will be.
Dude, Connor had
the
how
market.
many touchdowns did he have last year?
He had a lot.
12?
Yeah,
12 plus?
he was probably on a lot of championship-winning rosters,
Yep.
if I had to guess.
Let's hit the last one on here. Michael Gallup. Interest?
I don't. What
Off the
are we doing,
injury,
Dallas? What are we
like,
doing?
Let's get into that, please.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, way to go, Cleveland. After seeing what the market was for Christian Kirk, I mean,
That's the thing. That deal aged very well.
yes.
A lot of people were like, okay. But then you see the deals being handed out, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that wasn't.
And then, why weren't more teams in on it? I guess they just didn't know that was,
you
know,
gave
the
up
going rate
like
for
a 5th or 6th round pick.
nothing.
Like,
A lot of teams could have used him. And there was a lot of space. I mean, a lot of teams have cap space.
yeah, like the cap just went up. Like there should have been way more people in on Amari Cooper than there was.
I mean, what Chargers, even though, I know they went and got some of these defensive guys, that would have been, I mean, just throw Amari
just
in the mix.
load up. Why not?
Keenan, Amari, Mike, why not? Like,
Yeah.
Like Dallas had last year
Yeah.
before Gallup got hurt.
Like you got to get a baller offense. I mean, there's a chance to do it. But yeah, I mean, it's surprising that more teams weren't in on.
Is there
Amari.
not a world where, I know Gallup got hurt, but is there, especially with Gallup getting hurt, is there not a world where you're like, why do you not just keep Amari over Gallup? Like,
Yeah.
let Gallup walk.
Gallup just tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're paying Gallup now, I guess 5 years, $57 million, so like almost $12 million a year. So it is a lower cap hit, but there's no guaranteed money on Amari's deal after this year.
And
you
I
could have cut him for nothing next offseason.
I do like the 5 years on it because it does kind of build in a year or so for him to like get back to full health. There's a bunch of weird, like Chris Godwin, man, he's going to be maybe not starting the season. Robert Woods might not be starting the season. There's a lot of those
OBJ.
late.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
not.
Yep.
Achilles, ACLs, James Robinson, man.
Interesting times.
Yeah.
So a little bit of,
already devastating.
yeah, truly. We haven't even gotten into the training camp period yet, but just talk a little offense, but we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will hit the big-name defensive guys staying with their same team and the guys that are switching teams, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Looks like rain, I'm catching up on my sleep tonight.
That was beautiful.
I've been meaning to tell ya. I like the way you move. I like the way you move.
All right, welcome back in to the IDP show. You can't see it right now because the camera's on me, but these two idiots to my left and right are dancing.
Freaking
And Bob,
good ass dancers.
your singing was great. I think you may get a club later on, or a call later on from Sugar Daisy.
Call from the club.
Call
You're
from
right.
the club.
Sir.
Hey, Bob. Yeah, Zach's not feeling good. Come in. Like, we need you to do some vocals.
Happy to do it,
Come
Zach.
on down to the club.
One more piece of Hollywood.
Can you imagine Bob pulling up to the club in like his
Yeah.
old Dodge Ram with
That's
his
it.
work boots on,
Right. We got him a camo hat on tonight.
Honey,
looking like $1 million bucks?
Salt to the earth.
got me chewing.
I did like it that Greg picked up on Bobby saying "heavens, yes." He's like,
Did
"Don't
I
get
say
me-"
that?
Yeah, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
don't get a heavens very often." And Natty was like, "Welcome to the South, brother." And I was like, "Oh, weird."
He said that, and I was like, wonder which one of them said that.
And you handled it very well
was
when,
me.
when Greg was like, "I'm not an idiot. I know to buy the tip."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Very intelligent." And I was like,
You're smart,
You
Greg.
just kept on rolling with it. That was really good.
I'm not a dummy.
Yeah, so we're gonna hit the
Love you, Greg, with
defensive-
3 Gs.
Yes, triple G, 60%.
Love you too, Nate. Love you guys. Brothers for life.
That's right. I
Hook us up with them
apologize.
combine tags, tickets,
Let's get a place together.
Let's
Airbnb.
Let's be in love. So let's hit some of these defensive guys that are staying with their same team. These are some bigger name guys for IDP. And we saw these were some of the ones that dropped before the legal tampering period started. We had Harold Landry re-signing with the Tennessee Titans, 5 years, $87.5 million. I think that still is the most money. I think
so,
he is
yeah.
still the leader in the clubhouse.
That's good for his value. I don't want to give the boost for that, but we were wanting some spiciness, right?
We were wanting him to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I think so. It's always fun. It's always more fun when someone changes teams.
It was a little surprising that they brought him back. I thought just kind of like
Maybe bigger fish. to
Carlton
fry.
Davis, that they might have been priced out of bringing him back, but he does re-sign. This was the one I love, Bobo. Big fan of this one. Maxx Crosby, 4 years, $98.98 million extension with the Raiders. This was really cool. Signed on the 2-year anniversary of his sobriety. You got to love this for X, Bobo.
Yeah, man. Been a Max dude for a while now. You know, him and Yannick are fun over there in Las Vegas. That defense is really weird, especially no Corey Littleton. Who knows what Nick Kwiatkowski is going to be like next year. But, yeah, man, Max. Put pressures to, sacks, and he could have a pretty epic year. I feel like he could have a really good year incoming.
Best is yet to come.
Well, and then especially, Addy, in that was great. I don't know where that came from, and I don't really want to hear it again. But
8 sacks last year, but only in 4 games.
Hey, number one in pressures, though, baby.
Whoa.
Well, that's what I was going to say was in our All-22 league where the scoring is based on
101.
PFF grades.
101.
I've already joked John Mackery's taking him in the first round.
101.
So, Max may not be the most consistent IDP performer, but based on your scoring, he could be a legend. He could be a league winner.
What was it you said he signed a contract on the same day?
2-year anniversary of his sobriety.
That give me chills.
Woo.
You've been having chills literally every episode. After this, Bobby, we need to take Adam to the doctor.
Let's go ahead and give you just a little snippet, just a little taste, a little teaser of the mock.
Sure.
DN1, Myles Garrett. DN2, Nick Bosa. DN3, Brian Burns. DN4, Chase Young. DN5, Danielle Hunter. DN6, Maxx Crosby.
There you go. That's maybe a little higher than I think.
I think that's in range.
You know who took him?
It wasn't me.
PFF
Macri.
Marcy.
PFF Marcy. That's his dude. Macri loves him some.
But I don't
X Crosby.
I like that evaluation.
Yeah.
No, he's top 10.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
he should be in that range.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Once you get past those first 4, I think once you get past what
The top 6 or
Myles
7?
Garrett, Nick Bosa, TJ Watt.
Yep.
Then honestly,
Whatever.
have at it.
Brian Burns,
4
Joey
through
Bosa,
4 through 10,
Chase
you can
Young.
take whatever you
Josh
want.
I think
Allen.
you could make the case for a lot of dudes in that
Yep.
range.
It's pretty healthy where Quiddy Pay went in there as well. Let's just go ahead and finish out. Just a little deeper
This
sample.
was a sharp room.
Montez Sweat went after Crosby, then Josh Allen, then Aaron Donald, then Quiddy Pay,
Yep.
then
Love that.
Greg Russo.
Ooh. Oh,
Yeah,
Greg. Next after that.
Old
Yeah.
Greg.
Love to hear it. So we got Landry staying put. We got Crosby staying put. Also staying put, we have Emmanuel Ogbah signs a 4-year, $65 million extension with the Miami Dolphins. That was pretty rich.
Yeah.
Addy, your former boy, Tracy Walker, staying with the Detroit Lions, 3 years, $25 million. What is your temperature like on Emmanuel Ogbah now, especially with the big deal, 4 years, $65 million?
I still like him as like a solid, DL2 for you and sleeper. I mean, he's not going to – in that startup, I think I got him as my DL3.
That feels about right.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get that guy in, DL probably 25 to 35 range.
This probably bumps him up a little bit in terms of ADP.
Maybe so.
Guys, when they get paid, I feel like just the spotlight on them kind of drives the price up a little bit.
Maybe so. He's still just one of those guys. But yeah, you're right. The payday probably will alert people to the fact that he has had back-to-back, I think, 9 sack seasons.
I could see him in that 20 to 24 range now.
But yeah, I mean, he averaged 13.2 points per game, 77.0 PFF grade last year, 66.4 the year before that. I mean, I think Kansas City, they probably regret giving up on him. He's been solid, man. And I think, he's entering he's 28. So I mean, he's
entering that grown-ass man strength phase.
I like him. I think he's a fine piece for you.
I love that. Bobo. Tracy Walker sticking around. Emmanuel Ogbah sticking around. Another big name sticking around. Devondre Campbell, 5 years, $50 million with the Packers. This was probably the biggest winner for me in terms of guys sticking with their current teams. Guys that were free agents. Like Maxx Crosby was not a free agent. They just extended him. Harold Landry, okay, but man, Devondre Campbell was a revelation last year for IDP.
100%. Before I forget, Emmanuel Ogbah was the DN9 in RSO last year.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was.
That's
DN1.
a little surprising.
Pretty crazy. But yeah, Josh. I mean, spot on. Devondre Campbell was freaking crazy last year, and Adam even said it last week with Greg Rosenthal that if the Packers are smart, they'll just keep Devondre Campbell because he played great for them, racked up tackles, was in the backfield. I feel like he had a bunch of tackles for loss. I could be wrong. The dude was great. The dude was great for that defense. And, you know, it's kind of like exactly what I murmured on last week about that if you have Aaron Rodgers, you kind of treat it like Tom Brady. You just bring Levante David back, you bring all your defensive ends, and let's just go for it again next year. Because when you have Aaron Rodgers, you know you're going to be, you know, trying to make a deep playoff run. And Devondre Campbell is the perfect, you know, linebacker to fill that role.
Eddie, I think it's interesting. We look at the 3 safeties here that are sticking with their current teams, and it's a nice kind of pick your poison here. Tracy Walker, we mentioned, 3 years, $25 million. Quandre Diggs, back with the Seattle Seahawks, 3 years, $40 million. So gets 15 more than Tracy Walker. And then Xavier Woods, 3 years, 15.75. So he's actually going to the Panthers. So we'll talk about him in just a second.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, very strange.
We need to break the news. So I don't know. We haven't listened to the doc.
Oh, yeah.
Justin Reid.
Yeah, we'll talk about Justin Reid here in just a bit. But Tracy Walker, Quandre Diggs, you taking like late shots on these guys?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, they're solid. Again, they're solid safety twos. I mean, and those are positions you don't like. In the startup we just got done doing, the startup mock, I just punt defensive back. I don't care.
Yep.
I don't care. There's so many of them.
Yep.
And they all feel about the same.
And there were still so many of them left. There were still so many like, I'm fine with taking that guy as my, DB4. But yeah, they all feel about the same. From like, once you get past, again, like the top 15, who cares?
There is
16 to 40.
I think
all the same.
I think safety may be like the kind of murkiest, muddiest top 5. Like defensive end, I feel like you can make a really solid top 3, top 4, top 5 even. But like top 5 safeties, especially for Dynasty.
Well, even like
it's a little murky right now.
Yeah.
Even last year.
They're one, though, for sure one.
That's the only one I feel good about.
I feel good about Jeremy Chin.
Yeah.
I love that when they inquired about Deshaun, that the only person they said is off the table was Jeremy Chin.
Oh, that true?
You got to think that Brian Burns was probably
Brian
on that
Burns was.
list
They
as
weren't
well.
even asking about Brian Burns.
Yeah, surely.
But I agree with you about defensive back. It's just, and even still, it's like, yeah, Derwin's great, but is there really that much difference between the safety 1 and like the safety 16?
I think that's Addie's point is like, why pay up to get these guys?
But I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying, I'm not even really wanting to go and reach to get these top 5 guys.
No.
To even then sit. It's just like,
well,
just sit.
And you say Jeremy Chin, and for Dynasty, I agree. But
Sure.
like, how many times last year did we hear like John or Johnny or Mike or some of these guys, and we talked about it on our show as well, answering the question of, what the hell is going on with Jeremy Chin?
Yeah.
Like he was
Yeah,
for
slow
long
start.
stretches last year, one of the biggest disappointments.
Yeah.
And
So-
even Buddha was the same way. You know,
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about that. I think y'all talked about that on the MVP pod. My MVP was Jalen Thompson, just because as far as acquisition cost, he was so minimal. It was just a pickup, and he ended up being almost a safety 1.
Well, how many of those was that, too? Xavier Woods, Jaron Curse, like
Yep.
tons.
We could probably talk for a whole episode about just Jordan Fullers that played well, Taylor Rapps that did good, Kari Willis that came back
That's
later on
every
in the
year.
year and did fine.
Defensive back. We've hammered us in the ground since we've been doing this pod.
I don't think there's really that one defensive back that I'm just like, especially this offseason, I'm like, I just really want to go get. You know, it's kind of like if somebody comes knocking for one of my DBs, like Cam Curl, it's like, that's fine. I'll throw Cam Curl in. I don't really care.
Yeah, fine.
Kind of corners to me.
Yeah. And especially in sleeper, though, when you say that, like that's another thing. In sleeper, like when you get the defensive backs and the cornerbacks,
That's
like
right.
you can play those cornerbacks. And when you're playing in leagues with scoring like ours, like
It makes it even deeper because suddenly, like, you know, you can throw a Kenny Moore, a Trayvon Diggs, a
Trayvon Diggs
L'Jarius
was the
Sneed.
L'Jarius Sneed into
Trayvon Diggs wouldn't even.
I picked
He
him
was
with
the
the
last
pick of the draft.
I thought he was drafted when I was like going with my
That's
third
how that goes.
DB.
Also, sleeper, the ADP is ass.
Oh my God, I had to like. That's why I kept going to your rankings. I was like,
You have to go.
Good call.
You have to have a source of rankings when you're doing a startup. In
My
sleeper.
rankings are
free 99, He has
They're
to sort
amazing.
it
I'm
out.
not even gonna be humble about it.
You don't even have to
they're
be
damn
humble.
good.
Yeah.
They're great rankings.
How much time have you put into these ranks, Addy?
I'm in them all the time.
Yeah, it's like I pull up my Google Docs and I'm looking at like my files and it's like Adam edited just now. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm in them all the time.
it's like
3:30
8:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
you know? Like
Yeah.
Addy's
Yeah.
just being a grind boy.
Yeah.
So you
It's
love
fun.
to see it.
Adam Dynasty.docx.
That was one of the
I love that. Yeah.
Shoo-wee.
What a team name.
TBT.
So Devondre Campbell sticking around, Tracy Walker sticking around, as is Quandre Diggs. Addy, I'm going to tee you up on this one. We talked with Greg that maybe the Cowboys were going to be stupid and let DeMarcus Lawrence get out the door. No, sir. 3 years, $40 million to come back with the Cowboys. Your thoughts?
No brainer. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence, when he was out there last year, just dominant, like literally one of the best edge rushers in the league. I think he had like a top 5 PFF grade. Again, somewhat limited sample size because I think it was like 5 or 6 games. But boy, when he was out there, in real life, he was amazing. But also for IDP, man, he was awesome down the stretch.
He was. I remember he was setting the world on
He
fire.
was a huge lift to me because it was such a bummer. He got, I think, injured that first game.
I think so.
Missed like the next 8 to 10 weeks, I'd say. But then, yeah, gave us a nice little boost and was like returned right back to form. Like looked like the break form was fine.
Well, I thought it was said very well by Greg on the last pod that this is the best Cowboys player of the past half decade. So why do you let this guy get out the door to then turn around and sign Randy Gregory, who had a nice stretch last season?
Did we see the contract details?
It was 3 years, $40 million for DeMarcus
That's a great deal.
So, and this little nugget here that I thought was interesting as well. First defensive end in NFL history to have 7 straight seasons of his contract fully guaranteed.
Wow.
So,
I know we say this a lot too, but DeMarcus Lawrence is still kind of young to me. Like
He
he's
is.
29, but DeMarcus Lawrence
he
seems
feels
like
like
a
he's
young
32,
29.
33.
Cam Jordan's what, 32, 33? He's
He
in that
feels
same
the
mold.
same age as Cam Jordan.
The
Yes.
other- The other thing about D-Law in 2021 is that he didn't play a lot because he was injured. But even in the games where he played, he didn't play a ton of snaps, but he still had 3 sacks on the year, 2 forced fumbles, 1 interception, and 1 touchdown. What do you think this means? I was literally
What was his log, Bob? End of the season. Can you give us his?
So week 14, he had 2 tackles, 1 sack. Week 15, he had 5 tackles and 1 forced fumble. That's on 40 snaps. Week 16, on 25 snaps, he had 2 tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception, and 1 touchdown on 25
touchdown.
sacks.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Snaps.
Let's go.
50 snaps in, I'm sorry, this is percentage. 50 snap percentage in week 17, he had 1 tackle. But then week 18, on 29% of the snaps, he had 4 tackles and 1 sack.
Yeah,
Nice
so
little stretch there.
90.9 grade. That was 4th best among all edge rushers.
He's a
30
great
pressures
NFL player.
on 216
and
pass rush
a
attempts.
really underrated IDP asset.
100%. What's the question here for me for Dallas is what's next? So Randy Gregory is a UFA.
Probably going to get out the door at this point.
So I don't know. That was kind of the opposite thing to me with the whole Amari thing, to where you let the older Amari go to sign the hurt Gallup. And now it's kind of the opposite on the defensive end. We're keeping D-Law, the older D end, but we're going to let – well, I guess Randy Gregory's about the same age. He's 28.
I was worried they were going to let the injured guy come back and do the same thing on defense they did on offense, bringing back Gallup in place of Cooper.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, they keep Cooper and they keep Lawrence, the two, I would say, superior players at their positions.
Because they're kind of in a window now, too.
Oh,
honestly.
Absolutely.
Zeke, Pollard, Dak,
NFC's
tight
got
end's good.
a couple good teams, especially with Brady in the mix now again.
So I guess what I'm trying to do with DeMarcus Lawrence is read the tea leaves to see what are we going to do with Parsons. Where are we going to line Parsons up next year?
I think you're probably going to see maybe an uptick in the edge snaps than what you saw in 2021.
I think you're right.
Because Gregory's out the door now, And I think they saw how good he was in that role. Especially, let's see where some of these linebackers end up. What if they bring in like a Bobby Wagner?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Who's left?
They need Bobby Wagner. No, LVE's a UFA. Jalen Smith is gone. Keanu Neal didn't work out. Who do they have?
There's quite a
Sean
few.
Lee?
Jabril Cox. I forgot that he tore his ACL.
Oh, that's right.
He tore his ACL last year.
Yeah.
They could use a Bobby Wagner. They really could.
Another thing I didn't realize, I put this on Twitter, but I did not realize Tyus Bowser tore his Achilles, I think, last week of the year.
Wow.
So that's a huge bummer.
Those late injuries just slide under the radar because
not
most
see
people
that
are
one.
checked out.
Yeah.
So let's keep it rolling here, boys, and talk about some of these players switching teams. So this is where the spice and the sizzle comes in. These are the
drama
guys that we like to talk about. 'cause
What
we
went
get to
wrong?
Speculate a little bit. So Larry Ogunjobi, 3 years, $40.5 million to sign with the Bears. The Christian Kirk one was surprising. This was the most surprising signing of the day for me because the Bears are in a total tear-down rebuild, and yet they thought they had to go spend $40.5 million on a defensive tackle, and especially one that isn't really that great. But DJ Jones, another defensive tackle, 3 years, $30 million for the Broncos, and Sebastian Joseph Day, formerly of the Rams, signs a 3-year, $24 million contract with the Chargers. Boys, in D-tackle required leagues, any interest in any of these three guys?
Yeah, I like Sebastian Joseph Day. He was really impressive before he got hurt last year. I also like BJ Hill. I think he's a solid option for you. He's actually good. So,
Ogunjobi.
Ogunjobi's always been solid.
I just had to pull in this note from Tom. He said $25 million guaranteed for Ogunjobi. Enjoy watching him play at half speed / half effort and getting blown off blocks. That's what he did all 2021. Classic big name, small production player at this stage of his career. So seeing that and seeing the money and seeing the team, I was just like, I don't know that this one makes any sense.
Yeah, that's a weird one for sure. They are losing Akeem Hicks. It's I guess like a panic move, but yeah, it doesn't.
Why not just get a guy for like $3 or $4 million?
Yeah.
Like shop in the bargain aisle for that position.
Yeah, that's an odd one.
So, Bobo, couple defensive backs here we want to talk about as well. J.C. Jackson, this was the big, splashy top of the list for most free agent prognosticators. Gets 5 years, $82.5 million for the Chargers. This Chargers defense is suddenly pretty sexy, Bobo.
Yeah, man. You got to think the Chargers are going to be a better team next year. Got a good corner. Derwin James is still there. Maybe Kaiser White stays. I don't know what their money's looking like. It'd kind of be nice if he stayed because he looked good there last year.
Khalil Mack in the building now.
Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa.
Sebastian Joseph Day.
That's nice.
Brandon Staley's trying to take a page out of the old Sean McVay book.
I think he's trying to run the Rams playbook here.
Yeah.
Well, you got Herbert
Bring in
still
some
on
big
his
names,
rookie deal. You know, now's the time to try and push the chips in.
If the Rams did it with a quarterback that I think is, I would say in most people's eyes, equal or maybe even a step down from at least what Herbert can do, like what Herbert's ceiling is. Maybe Stafford's floor is a little higher than Herbert's, but this is a team, I think if you're following that blueprint, add all of these big names and like, let's see if you can do what the Rams just did.
Dude, Herbert's so dumb.
He's amazing.
Herbert's so dumb. I don't think the NFL has quite realized it yet. It's going to get there, though.
Go back and rewatch that Chargers-Raiders game from the last game of the season. Like,
sucks that they did not get in.
I was like jumping up and down in my bedroom. Like, this is the most insane game I've ever seen.
Is the NFL as good as it's ever been?
I think
offensive-wise,
offensive-wise, I wish we had a few more quarterbacks. Because
boy, we have a lot.
We have a lot of high-end guys.
What did you say? Quarter or corner?
Throwers of the football.
Okay.
Just because there are several teams right now with like middle-of-the-road QBs, but we also do have a lot of top-end talent. We've got Mahomes and Herbert and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and
Kyler.
I mean, there's just Dak. There's QBs.
He wants to figure it out.
There's a lot of top end QB,
and then you still got the legends, you know.
Yeah,
Brady,
Brady,
Favre.
Yeah, got Favre on the brain. Rodgers, Brady. So I just wish there were, losing like Ben of the past couple years is not a good example, but like losing Big
Breeze.
Ben, losing Breeze, losing Phil Rivers.
Flacco.
Yeah,
He's still there. He's still
losing
in.
Joe. God rest
Eli
his soul.
Manning.
Eli.
Doesn't it feel like the quarterbacks that we lost, we're just about to start losing some of these running backs too?
Oh, yeah.
Dalvin Cook's getting older. Zeke's getting older. Leonard Fournette's getting older.
Well, even the receivers too, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of receivers. Julio Jones is going to be gone soon. AJ Green's going to be gone soon.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Hey,
Keenan Allen,
whoa.
Michael Thomas.
Whoa, let's quit talking about my team.
Mike Evans.
I was going to say, Michael Evans.
Yeah.
Let's add Sebastian Joseph Day to the list of Aaron Donald's list of
guys he's gotten paid.
People he's made money for.
Yeah, he needs to send a little thank you.
I do think SJD is a good player, though, so I think he will play well in that Charger setup. He's great for stopping the run. That dude gets some tackles every game.
So we've got a 3-pack of IDPs coming up here that I'm very excited to dig into on new teams. But before we get into that, Bobo, I want to read you a tweet from our beloved friend at PFF, John Macri. He said, on the Xavier Woods deal that I mentioned earlier, 3 years, $15.75 million, signing with the Panthers, Woods was the only defensive player to play 100% of snaps last season, 1,207 defensive snaps. Camryn Bynum earned a 78.3 overall grade on 211 snaps in 2021 and should see a bigger role in 2022. Xavier Woods, Camryn Bynum, can I interest you in either of these guys?
Nah, let me hold Jeremy Chin. We're good over here, fam.
That's it? That's the tweet?
That's good.
Send tweet. Send tweet and log off.
Camryn Bynum, please.
Tell me about Camryn Bynum, Addy.
I mean, he got an opportunity last year when Haason Smith missed some time, and he was amazing. I mean, he had like a 10-tackle game, I think, and then the other one he had, making just plays all over the field. I think he got a sack, maybe a pick. Yeah, he's good. I think he's going to be good. I think he was their 4th-round selection in the 2021 draft. But yeah, I mean, as soon as he got an opportunity, he balled out, and that's exactly what you want to see from a rookie like that. So yeah, I love Camryn Bynum. I just took him in that startup we did. I think I have him ranked as he was like in the top 30 safeties. He's definitely someone that will be moving up. Cause yeah, Secret's going to be out. There's going to be a bunch of pieces. The one thing with Camryn Bynum that is a worry though, is obviously there's a new staff in there, new coaching staff and all that stuff. So,
Week 9, 98% of the snaps, he had 12 tackles, 1 interception last year. Camryn Bynum.
He was good. He was, like you said, in relief of Haason Smith. I was just looking up to see, I believe that they named him as a buy. Yeah, John Macri had him as a buy from the Minnesota Vikings.
Nice.
So him and Danielle Hunter both.
Is Dantzler going to get in trouble?
You talking about the other one?
Who am I thinking
Cam
about?
Dantzler?
Who got in trouble? The corner there?
Yeah, one of them got cut.
Okay. So he's already gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
So, yeah,
Sorry.
he said, I was
Vikings
reading
on the
I don't know if it
brain.
was Dantzler.
part of this from the
Maybe it
Big
wasn't.
Nickel podcast here. He was super impressed with Bynum on what limited snaps we saw from him as a rookie. Started 2 games for the Vikings when Haason Smith was out. Played great. We got to see him for 98 snaps in one of those games, that Ravens game in Week 9.
Yeah.
He earned a 90 overall grade for that game, and 12 tackles, an INT, 4 defensive stops. So, yeah, I think you're right. This could be a under the radar guy, like an end of your draft, or hell, he's probably out on waivers in most leagues. I would say.
And also, Haason Smith is 33. So I mean, his time is.
He re-signed. He signed an extension though pretty recently.
But still, Minnesota's they're kind of on.
Yeah, you always kind of got to evaluate.
They could potentially trade some of these guys. So
Yep.
they need to trade some of these vets away.
I was gonna
More people
ask-
need to do what the Bears are doing.
What do you think? Because re-signing Kirk to a 1-year extension tells me that they're just going to run it back. I think for the most part.
Yeah, I mean
It
they
seems
might.
like.
I mean, they can't really get an upgraded quarterback right now, so might as well. Whatever.
You look at teams like Pittsburgh that just brought in Mitchell Trubisky. It's like, I'll take Kirk over Trubisky.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
For sure.
Yeah, you look around the landscape and you're like, I think I'll dance with the girl I brought.
Kirk or Baker Mayfield?
Oh, Kirk.
Kirk, definitely.
Kirk or Tua?
Kirk.
I think I would take Kirk as well. I'm not sure on Tua.
Kirk or Jimmy G?
Kirk.
Kirk.
Kirk or Ryan Tannehill?
Kirk. Well, I don't know. That's close. They're
That's close. Yeah.
Hmm.
Probably that's about the point right there, I think, where you can have the conversation.
Yeah.
So let's talk about these exciting players here that have switched teams and are going to be very, very relevant for IDP. Starting with Justin Reid. We mentioned it earlier, the news that broke right before we came out and started recording. 3 years, $31.5 million, signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. Addy, Greg Rosenthal said that Justin Reid was a big-time sleeper for him. Now we see him get some pretty good guap from the Kansas City Chiefs. Is this their Honey Badger replacement?
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, and this is perfect. I mean, if you're looking for the narrative, it's there. He was in Houston in a really bad situation. The first 2 years were great when they were competitive. Then we know it's been well documented, just the shit show that was the Texans. And he was kind of on the outs with the coaching staff. And now he gets paid They give him a handsome deal, 3 years, $31 million, right?
Yep. So about $10 million a year.
So they
That's
think
some
highly.
serious money.
Kansas City thinks highly of him.
And that was a team that was over the cap.
Yeah, and so he gets to go and play in an environment like Kansas, a championship team, and going to be a big part of that. They need playmakers.
They do.
So
That
Justin Reid is going to
defense
stand
needed some
out
juice. Yeah.
sorely in a good way.
Yep.
I love it.
So
Sorely in a good way.
yeah, gonna be a sore thumb.
Sorta in a good way.
Bobo, Justin Reid, does this get y'all hot and bothered landing with Kansas City?
For sure. That whole linebacking rotation, that Spagnolia
Raviolo.
continues to roll out from one year to the next. It gives the DBs an opportunity to rack up some tackles. It is kind of sad that the Honey Badger era is going to be gone. But, yeah, man, Justin Reid, got to love it. What is he now? Probably DB2?
I think I'm taking him as a back-end DB2 for sure.
Nice.
So let's keep hold on, Eddie, you're muted because you're cracking a beer.
Yes, we're talking maybe back end safety 1.
Back-end safety 1, that high.
This is great. This is so good for his value.
There's nobody else there. You've got Juan Thornhill, who's been very okay. You've got Dan
Dirty
Sorensen.
He's
Dan-
gonna get the Honey
Dirty
Badger
Dan's
role.
out the door, right?
Dirty Dan's
His
he's
big-
gonna get like the box snaps, I think.
His biggest competition is L'Jarius Sneed.
Well, he'll get like this. Yeah, that is true. Snead plays the slot. I don't know. We'll see. Reid played free safety a lot in Houston. I think he played probably more than he did in the box and stuff. But again, I don't want to look too much into what he did in Houston. He's in a much better situation.
Reid had 3 picks his first year in. He had 2 picks in 2019. He didn't have any in 2020, but he did have 2 picks in 2021. So, yeah, man, as Kansas City scores a bunch of points and quarterbacks continue to make bad decisions against that defense, as Adam pours this whole beer
all over the
his
electronic
lap.
equipment.
It's on the hell of a pour.
Yeah, all over the floor.
What about you, Josh? Justin Reid, how are you valuing him? Who's somebody you would trade for Justin Reid right now?
Man, I don't know that I'm trading a lot for safeties. I'm taking him probably pretty high in a startup.
What kind of pick would you give for Justin Reid?
Oh man,
You giving a third for him?
I would give a third. I was just thinking
Third and a fourth.
A third, maybe 2023 fourth.
Yeah.
A third for Justin Reid. Yeah, it's
Hey.
going to be a good setup.
Hey, this is a value boost, baby.
Yeah.
So
He's one of the. We'll touch on the ones. I'll read that tweet ad off.
there you go. Yeah, the risers and
end.
followers. That's how we'll cap it off. So let's move to another juicy name, though. Haason Reddick signs a 3-year, $45 million deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. So this from John Macri. Reddick played a very high 852 defensive snaps in 2021 with the Panthers. A lot of his production has been volume-based. Here's the key, though. The Eagles have not had an edge rusher play more than 800 snaps since 2015. That's a long time, Bobo, so we got to wonder. Haason Reddick seems like a good sell window right now based on this landing spot.
Yeah, Macri's spot on, man. I'm not interested at all in Haason Reddick. Be thankful for the last 2 years that you had him. Be thankful that Brian Burns took a lot of the pressure off him in Carolina, and he was able to rack up 12 sacks. That is not going to happen in Philadelphia. Josh Sweat is still a nuisance there, who is not great. Is Barnett still around? That defensive line rotates in and out, from first to second to third down. Haason Reddick will probably see.
He'll get an opportunity. I remember putting this in the doc that the Eagles' defensive end room, except for Josh Sweat, was all free agents.
Wow.
So that's the room has been significantly cleared for him. I just don't know with his game and the way he produces being volume, Addy, I don't know that I'm super thrilled with him landing in Philadelphia.
Yeah, right. He's not the biggest guy, right? He's not built like a lot of these other edge rushers in terms of weight.
6'1", 235.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty.
That's a
thin
linebacker
for edge guy.
But he is 27 years old, so we do
27 years old. And the fact remains he's got back-to-back, double-digit sack seasons. So, yeah, another new situation. But
is he
did okay in Carolina?
But is he the best guy here now? Does he have a Brian Burns opposite?
I think him and Josh Sweat are a fine duo. They're obviously that's not you want better, but it's hard to find edge rushers. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm based on what you've had there in Philly at edge, hell yeah, man, sign me up for Haason over Barnett.
This is a downgrade in his situation, though.
Yeah, I
getting
think
to
so.
play alongside, Brian Burns with his old college coach.
Right.
I mean, that's a little bit of a tick down. For
But
me.
I'm not gonna. I don't think the bottom's gonna fall out.
No,
right?
no. I'm not anticipating like this guy is going to be just a total dud for your IDP roster. I'm just saying,
Probably not 12 sacks, but
Yeah.
maybe more like in the 9 to 11. Never forget range.
never forget range that he's going to be a back end DN 2-3 for you, Bobo.
Haason Reddick had 10.5 of his 11 sacks in the first 11 weeks. From week 12 through week 18, he only had a half of a sack.
There you go.
Pretty disappointing
Thanks for
stretch.
coming through in the clutch there for
Now,
us, Haason.
In fairness, Carolina was a dumpster fire there.
That's true.
That is
Good
a
point,
great
Addy.
point. I think they were starting XFL legend PJ Walker at that
yes.
point,
And Cam
And that's got to
Newton.
be like.
and Cam Newton.
And also, I know like Bobby Wagner sucked it up last year, but I mean, like at that point,
Yeah.
like you got to be just on cruise control. When
You're wanting to murder Russell Wilson in his sleep.
Well,
for
you
how
had Geno
corny he
Smith
is.
out there for
Yeah.
way too many games.
The
With,
old
Russell
Malfinger.
Wilson.
It was interesting listening to the Around the NFL broadcast. They brought on one of the Seattle beat writers to talk about the Russell Wilson situation and his legacy there. And he said something interesting, which was Russ rushing back from a 6 to 8 week injury in 3 weeks, and then being on the field and doing the fake. Yeah, exactly. That whole thing. He was like, make no mistake that his teammates, especially when he came back and played poorly in those first few games, rushing back from injury, his teammates are like, man, you made this all about you, then you rush back and you played poorly. It's one thing if you rush back, make it all about you, and you're a superstar again.
That's true.
But I just thought it was kind of interesting to hear someone who's that close to the team say, yeah, his teammates weren't a big fan of him making it the rush show, even when he should have just been off to the side, kind of doing his rehab, doing his thing, and kind of just keeping quiet for a bit.
I just feel so bad for his teammates that have to, you know how many just awkward conversations go on around Russell Wilson. Just every probably conversation he has is going to be just cringe.
Yeah.
He's a weird fella.
I don't know that I could literally watch him interact with Sierra. It's just everything is prepackaged and microwaved for Instagram.
I've gone out of my way to look up some of his interviews and stuff. They're, oh boy, like hearing him trying to be funny on like talk shows. He was on like Jimmy Fallon recently, and like he kept going back to the same joke, and it just kept
kept
landing.
bombing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's just
You love that though. You were
I'm into that. That's like
you were
right
a
up my
fan
alley.
of cringe comedy through and through. It's
Sure.
kind of your bread and butter.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get back to this one real quick. Haason Reddick or Emmanuel Ogbah?
Ooh, give me Emmanuel Ogbah.
Probably Ogbah as well.
Spot on. You
But
got
it's
him
close.
ahead on the old ranks. Okay, Haason Reddick or Joe Tryon?
Joe Tryon.
I think so too. With JPP out the door, that's just a
Ooh,
big
speaking
leap.
of Joe Tryon's nice. I mean, I thought that was kind of I thought Tampa Bay was gonna be, not fun to
But
do.
now the juice is back.
Everyone's
We're feeling
hyped.
good. He was shouting off a balcony, I think somewhere in Tampa, like the GOAT is back. Did you see this?
Who was doing this? Tryon?
Tryon was. He had a Brady shirt and Brady sweatpants on, and he was shouting off of his balcony, "The GOAT is
Let's
back.
go.
The GOAT is back."
The depths of Twitter that y'all know just blow my minds.
Yeah, you gotta
My multiple minds.
yeah, both minds.
Yeah, I mean it's a cesspool for sure, but it's definitely shaped our brains 100%.
Too much.
Yeah.
I like that comment. Retweet that. So let's wrap up here with the juiciest name of the day, fellas, at least for IDP. This was a classic example of, oh my God, what are the Jacksonville Jaguars doing, giving 3 years, $45 million to Foyesade Oluokun. Again, Christian Kirk, okay. Going out, signing the offensive lineman, okay. A lot of folks, though, were up in arms. Why are we doing this? It's Joe Schobert, round 2, bringing in the big name free agent who is just a tackle machine. That is all Foyesade Oluokun is good for, is tackles. But Addy, setting aside the financials and whether this was a smart team building move, I like this for IDP.
Yeah. I think you got to feel good about it. I mean, I was kind of concerned that he was going to go to a better team where they were going to kind of expect more out of him, right? This is great. He gets to go to Jacksonville. They're going to be bad. He's going to be on the field all the time. He's going to soak up a ton of freaking tackles.
Miles Jack is there, but I kind of see that like a Deion Jones. You got a similar kind of running mate, like
But yeah, Foye is going to be the guy that's
Foye is going to be the dude,
soaking
even
up
more so than he was, I think, in Atlanta.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he was. I don't think he's going to average 17 points per game again.
No.
But he's still going to be a linebacker one.
He'll be a linebacker one.
I think it wasn't like double arrow up for him, but a slight arrow up just because
it could have gotten bad.
Right.
It
I
could
feel
have
like
gone
it's
way
safe.
down.
I feel like he's much more safe now.
We've seen this. I mean, I make the Joe Schobert comparison, but we've literally seen this exact scenario play out, Bob, where you have a tackle machine linebacker going to Jacksonville and playing really well. Joe Schobert was top 5 his first year there in Jacksonville.
Quincy Williams experience. Whatever year that was, 2018, 2019.
Whatever year we had him as a dark horse breakout.
I mean, Damian Wilson was even fine last year in spot starts.
Adam's right. The problem with that team is just they're going to be bad. Caleb Von Chason is not working out. Please don't ruin Josh Allen. That's my
I
only
think they're
concern.
going Aiden Hutchinson at the 101, top of the NFL draft, and that's a nice pairing
fun
to go
little-
with Josh Allen.
They need some help, though. That secondary needs some help. The DBs are not good. I mean,
It's a bad team.
if there's a possibility at all for Foye to run it back and be a LB1 again, Jacksonville is that team for that to happen.
Because we knew he was going somewhere else. The Falcons had negative $8 million in cap space. So
For sure.
Foye was going to land somewhere besides Atlanta. So it's just a matter of what's the competition look like for tackles. And I think it's very comparable to what we saw in Atlanta. So I like this for Foyesade. Like Addy said, not necessarily double arrow up, but a slight arrow up just simply because of Bobo. Could have been a lot worse.
Here's the problem. Foye, what are y'all thinking about in Dynasty, I guess, right now?
Yeah, I feel good for the next 2 years. So I mean, I think that's worth quite a bit. If you feel like
What's he worth?
He's worth the second.
I think so,
you're gonna want a second if you're getting rid of him. You're not gonna sell him for a third.
I don't know that I'm buying him for a second, but I want a second if I'm selling
I feel like
him.
his second is a fair price. If someone's coming after him, they should know that they're gonna need to pay a second.
What would you give for him?
I'd probably give a third plus maybe a later pick, maybe sometime in another draft. But
Not gonna get him.
that's the thing. I'm not going to get him. So I think the price is probably going to be a little too
I
rich.
think if you want him, you're gonna have, especially now. He just signed a gigantic deal. He's one of the highest paid linebackers in the NFL.
Yeah, this is not the time to try to buy him right
He's
now.
coming off the number one. Was he one? Was he two? He was like
Depending
LB1
on
or
your
two.
scoring, he was top 3.
He was up. Top 3. I mean, yeah, this. He's valuable. He's about as valuable as it gets. He's a top 12 linebacker. That's worth it. In my opinion, if you're gonna a second and like a fourth, that should get him.
And that's worthwhile in a position group that tends to turn over a lot year to year. I think he's about as safe as you can get when it comes to percentage chance he repeats at the top 12 guy.
We're not saying, go out and, overpay, but having a linebacker one and something that you don't have to worry about week to week, that is worth something.
Yep. Peace of mind is nice in fantasy football.
Foye or Ernest Jones?
For
Foye.
Dynasty?
Well, Matt, that could look very different like week 8.
If Bobby Wagner signs next week.
Yeah.
But even if not, Ernest Jones could start out he could be great.
That's
he
true.
could be amazing there next year.
So who do you say?
Right now, Foye.
Joshy?
I think I would go Ernest Jones.
Let's do this 3-pack. So this is your ranks, Addy. So Ernest Jones you have is the LB19 right now. Foye or Pete Werner?
Foye.
Foye or Nick Bolton?
Foye.
Last one. Foye or Shaq Thompson?
Shaq.
Foye.
Shaq is a little younger,
Those are
right?
close. He's 27. I think he's actually a little older.
Mm-hmm.
A little older than Foye?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, yeah. I changed my answer then. Foye.
Interesting.
Maybe. Let me double check that for you.
So there's
changing answers.
There's kind of the break line then. Shaq Thompson, right around there is kind of how you value
Foye is
he's definitely older. 28, Shaq Thompson.
Wow.
Foye is not 27 yet. He's 26.6.
because this is his first big contract he's been able to sign.
Okay.
You have to keep that in mind.
I lied to y'all. I'm going to go 2 more because I think these are interesting. Foye or Devondre Campbell?
Ooh,
that is
boy,
really
that's great.
tough.
That's great.
How old is Devondre Campbell?
He's definitely older.
29.
Older?
He's 29.
Okay, I'm going Foye.
Devondre Campbell though is like he's a Mario Davis now, right?
That's what it feels
He's
like.
gonna probably stick around there.
At least 3 years.
Could we see
At least 3 years.
Could we see the best of Devondre Campbell's career coming in his 30s rather than in his 20s?
I think so.
I think that's
think
entirely
so.
possible.
I'm gonna go Campbell. Although I may have Foye ranked a little higher. I
What'd
don't
you
know.
say,
That's
Joshy?
tough.
I think I'm going Foye.
Okay, last one. Foye or Blake Martinez?
Foye.
Foye, especially with Blake coming off the injury.
Okay.
Okay, I have Foye as LB12, and I have Devondre Campbell as LB15. I have Blake Martinez as LB16. These are great questions, Bob.
I'm in here right
Good
now,
job. Yeah,
fam.
he was up in them ranks.
Oh, yeah.
Pulling the questions.
Yeah, and everyone in the mock, come clean. I know you're in the. I know you're in the ranks.
Every single pick.
I know
had,
you are in the
I'm
ranks.
up in the ranks, looking at them. Check them out, the IDPshow.com.
They're great.
Hey,
Free.
Josh, you're up in my ranks. Up high.
Hey.
Hey,
Am I a first rounder or like late second?
We put a tender on you this
I'm
year.
going to trade a third rounder for Josh.
Yeah, we're not tagging you. We're going to let you kind of, mull
Just
your
dangle.
options.
See what you're not worth.
Just dangle out there. Go test
Then
the
come
market
back.
and come crawling
Yo,
back.
come back.
Little tail between the legs. You'll be back.
Can I please have some money, sir? I checked the market and it was not good.
No.
Go play in the USFL. Like, all right, fine.
Me and Addie been wanting to start our own
All right.
two-man pod for
Addy,
a while.
speaking of two-man pod, take us home with your tweet. Arrow
Oh, yeah.
up, arrow down. I think you had some double arrows up. You had some sideways arrows. You were utilizing the emojis.
Felt like I was at an airport.
We're going to give you the solo cam here, Addy.
It's a big time of the year, and it's time for me to step up and really try and get some of those followers. 'Cause
Engage
again,
the community.
right? That's all that matters. All right, so
As he frantically scrolls to get to the right spot.
all right, so initial reactions for Dynasty. Devondre Campbell, 2 arrows up, baby.
Love it.
I think he saw his value increase more than anyone else. I think he went from like linebacker 28 for me in Dynasty because again, I don't think moving teams would have been a good thing for him. So yes, I like Devondre Campbell a lot. Michael Walker, obviously, this is great for him with Foye leaving town. Double arrow up for Michael Walker. He's going to be super cheap now. Well, not now, but he was super cheap. Still going to be cheap, probably compared to what he can do for you for fantasy.
Big time buy.
Our boy Gross Matos, double arrows up with
For Yeats?
I think so. He was impressive to me at the end of last year. And dude, he's a large dude. So I'm excited to see him in year 3. Foye, just 1 arrow up again. I think it wasn't a bad move for what happened with him and where he landed in Jacksonville. Quandre Diggs, stay the same. Safety 2, safety 3 type.
Yep.
Depth piece. Tracy Walker, same thing. I mean, they didn't really, 3 years, $25 million from Detroit. That's not anything to get too pumped up about. I like that the situation's going to stay the same. He is playing a lot more deep now. But I don't think it's really a big arrow up for him. Christian Kirksey, I think it's glad that he's, will still stay relevant, but again, not really moving the needle too much. Emmanuel Ogbah, same thing. Not, kind of the same, but that's not really an indictment. It's just that I think you can expect about 9 to 10 sacks again. And Haason Reddick, about the same. I don't expect him to get 11, 12 sacks, but again, I think we're going to see like 9, 10.
He'll still be relevant.
Still be fine.
Yes.
I still think he's going to get 800 snaps, so he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Did you have any arrow down? Any arrow down, folks?
No arrows down.
No
I
losers?
didn't really. I mean, there may be some now, but really there hasn't been anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess someone like Chris Barnes, but I mean, were you expecting really him
No.
to? No.
Big arrow down for Matt Patricia.
Always arrow down for Matt
Always
Patricia.
arrow down for Pencil Boy Bobo.
For the Tracy shade, you deserve it. And for that Quandre Diggs trade, you deserve that one as well.
that was
and for the
horrible.
pencil with the laminated play sheet.
Big L.
You
Even
deserve
a year
an arrow
later,
down as
big
well.
L.
At least Seattle has the safety situation figured out.
That's right. Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs.
Quandre Diggs. I'd imagine, maybe that's the answer with where everyone's wanting to know
Yeah.
with situation. Who's that second linebacker now?
That's
Maybe it's Jamal
Jamal
Adams.
Might be Jamal Adams playing like a Landon Collins type of role.
Yep.
It's very true, man. Very true.
All
Something
right.
to think about.
Well, there you go. Little free agency
That was
recap.
fun.
That was a good episode.
Those
This is
are
one of
the-
my favorite times.
I feel
of the
like
year.
our best episodes are the ones that we are actually excited about. I was actually excited to get out here and
That's
talk
right.
F-ball with you, bros.
F-ball with you, Brad.
Let's freaking kiss!
We're gonna get off here and triple kiss.
We're going to get off, all right?
Subscribe to our Patreon. You have the OnlyFans access code in the Patreon, so make sure you check that out. But We have a big nickel episode with Jace Abbey and John Macri breaking down the buy-sell candidates for the AFC.
Making his debut on
right.
the network. Let's go, Jace.
Love to see it. Of IDP guys, check him out. He's a great follow over on Twitter. He'll be on, I believe we're dropping that episode on Thursday, so make sure y'all check that one out. And like we said, we'll be back next week talking about the Dynasty mock draft results that we had and hitting any of these lingering deals from the second wave of free agency, because there's still some big guys out there. Where's Honey Badger
real
gonna
quick,
go?
real quick.
Where's Bobby Wagner gonna go?
I got a tweet that's gonna get sent as soon as we leave out of here.
Chandler Jones, where's he going?
Von Miller, Honey Badger, yeah, Randy Gregory, Uchenna, our boy.
Come on, Colts. Holding out hope.
That'd be sweet. Kaiser White, Za'Darius Smith, Jordan Whitehead, AJ Johnson, Anthony Walker, Charles Harris, Malik Reed, Trey Flowers, Jordan Hicks, Marcus May. Also, check out our free agent tracker on IDPshow.com, theIDPshow.com. You won't miss any of it.
Yeah, we've got you covered, top to bottom,
For you.
left to right, all
For free.
free.
Be here tomorrow night.
TheIDPshow.com.
Going down through day 2 free agency, Tuesday night episode. We'll be back Wednesday.
Bobby, you're
day
basically
3,
just
free
pointing
agency.
across Adam's camera. You love to see it. Well, shout out to our Listener League participants and our patrons. We love and appreciate y'all. Like I said, stay tuned. Thursday, Big Nickel. Next week, we'll see y'all on Tuesday for mock draft and free agency round 2. Until then, y'all take care. We'll see you next week.